Yo, an Erupter one-shots them. Nice, man. The Erupter takes top spot for me in the latest Helldivers 2 update, thanks to some fantastic changes to how shrapnel works. It's now a top tier pick against the newly revamped squids. It shreds stingray bombers with ease. That got it. Nice, man. And absolutely wrecks those terrifying flesh mobs, sometimes in just 2 shots. The flesh mobs are covered in blue weak spots, and while you have to clear all these for a clean kill, there's actually a really nifty little trick that can happen occasionally. If you blast off the front section with the Erupter, it sometimes triggers a spin animation that exposes the back weak spots. As you can see here, this allows you to line up the shrapnel perfectly, and you can drop the front, then the back fast. You can also chip away at their feet for some really quick kills too. It goes without saying that aside from the new elite squid enemies, the Erupter is also incredibly strong against the usual suspects, making mincemeat of hordes of voteless due to the way in which shrapnel now correctly behaves in a 360-degree AoE. You can place your shots into groups, and these nuisances just fold in large numbers. You can also one-shot watchers if you're accurate enough. Just remember to lead your shots a bit here, folks, and you can make incredibly short work of both the regular Overseers and the new Crescent Overseers that bombard our positions from range. Once you've removed the shields from parked UFOs, you can also take these out with a well-placed shot through the doorway. All of this, folks, without needing to use a single stratagem. What a primary weapon. The only unit that can cause issues are harvesters. They just don't seem to drop very quickly, even if you land your shots on the hip axle or the eye weak spot, but that's okay, because we'll be going over some support weapons to pair the Erupter with later in the video. And with that in mind, before we get into the rest of the weapons, if you're enjoying this content, it would be great if you could drop the video a like and sub to the channel to keep informed. A like helps push the video out to other Helldivers who are currently fighting the invasion, and it really helps me out. Thank you. Next up, the Scorcher. This thing is an absolute beast against the new Illuminate scum. Given the nature of both stingrays and flesh mobs and the high damaging medium armor pen this thing offers, it's a match made in heaven for any calamari seeking Helldivers. The way it deals with stingrays, with its impressive fire rate that allows it to mag dump into the fuselage of these annoying crafts, is nothing short of fantastic. Just take a look at how effortlessly this weapon can deal with these. I'd actually say that this is easier to use against stingrays than the Erupter, which once again makes it an awesome pairing with any other useful support weapon. More on that in a moment, folks. The Scorcher can also handle flesh mobs effectively, especially when you make sure you're landing your shots around the weak spots we discussed earlier. Sometimes you can get one down in a full mag, other times it can take a little more than one, but given how bullet spongy these suckers are, this is a great weapon choice. With weapon customization now live and in the game, the ability to lower vertical recoil at level 4, I believe it is, means you can get this thing firing truer than it already could, meaning it's excellent at sniping watchers, overseers, and of course voteless. Much like the Erupter, it isn't the best at dealing with harvesters, but due to its sustained damage output, it does some very respectable damage to assist with these menacing tripods and taking them down swiftly. An honourable mention here goes to the Stalwart, and whilst it's not strictly a primary weapon, it certainly can be used as one, especially if you focus on clearing weaker chaff enemies with it and ensure that you have it on maximum RPM to use with the ultimate support weapon pairing, which I'm going to go over in a moment. Whilst it doesn't deal with stingrays and flesh mobs particularly well, it deals with the rest of the Illuminate forces very effectively, and I'm throwing this in here as a bit of a fun pick because, as we all know, Illuminate hate a lot of bullets, and this provides exactly that. Despite Helldivers running on a fairly old game engine, it never ceases to amaze me how utterly epic and beautiful this game can look. The sinews exploding everywhere when we torch a little squirmy Terminid to death, it all just looks absolutely insane. That's why I'm excited to be partnering with Apex Gaming PCs. If you're thinking about upgrading your setup, Apex Gaming PCs has got you covered. Whether you need a high-powered rig for massively demanding games like Monster Hunter Wilds, or you just want things to run buttery smooth, they've got pre-built and custom systems that can handle it all. Plus, there's some solid discounts going on right now, so if you've even been considering an upgrade, now is a great time to check them out. And don't forget to use code FaZe at checkout for a 5% discount. The links are in the description below. Moving on to the support weapons, and honestly, I'm going to keep this section short and sweet, folks. If you want the ultimate pairing to your primary choice to rip through all of the Illuminate's old and new units and ensure that any weaknesses are fully covered, the HMG 206 is back and in full effect. This monster makes incredibly short work of stingrays and harvesters and does very admirable work against the flesh mob. Slap some peak physique armor if you struggle with aiming, but if you get savvy with this weapon, it's not necessary, folks. Slow down the fire rate if you need to, but of course, if you really want to put this to the maximum of its potential, then you need maximum RPM for the fastest and most devastating results. Pairing this with any of the previous 3 weapons I've mentioned makes it an insanely powerful weapon combo, which will make your time dealing with this latest invasion very straightforward. The other honourable mentions from my test so far in terms of support weapons go to the AMR and the Wasp launcher. The AMR is just always a brilliant one to go to against Illuminate. It's so effective against the new stingrays. You can mag dump into the bottom of them as they pass over your head and take them out very quickly, very satisfying. And also, harvesters, you become their worst nightmare once you start raining in the pain on their hip joints. And unfortunately, I don't have any footage of my time with the Wasp, but it is very useful against the Illuminate in their current iteration, which leads me on nicely to a question that I've been pondering on stream with the Phase Shift community. What do you think of this new iteration of the Illuminate Force? I personally absolutely love the direction they've taken this. It feels to me like if you want to be effective against the Illuminate, then you need to be using medium armor pen weaponry that is going to be able to deal with not only the old units now, but also taking into consideration how we deal with these new threats. And I know that sounds a little bit obvious, but when you think about it, the way in which we are now having to build our loadouts to face this new threat is actually quite different from the other factions, and I think that is a really welcome change. The Erupter, I don't feel, is going to be anywhere near as effective as it is against the Illuminate, against any other one of the factions, and I could be wrong, but that's why I'm asking the question, folks. What do you think about this? What weapons do you perhaps think I'm sleeping on? What combinations are you going to be bringing against the Illuminate? And do you think this new weapon customization system is offering anything to fighting the other factions with these new weapons? Sound off in the comments below. Check out this next video. It's got you covered. Take care of yourselves. Keep having fun. Come check out a stream on YouTube or Twitch, and I'll see you in the next one.